How is it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today, we will be taking a look at dinosaur memes. I had members of my Discord server send over some of their favorite dinosaur memes so that we can do a little bit of a reaction video to them. So yeah, it's a pretty straightforward video, pretty simple overall. So just kind of like sit back and relax and just enjoy some dinosaur memes. Okay, let's get it started. So first of all, we have this one, a simple, come at me, bro. It's especially funny with the context of this because this is a male Carnotaurus trying to woo a female. It's a little bit of a mating dance. So just with that caption, it's pretty funny. I quite like it. Oh, that is so interesting. That kind of reminds me of that one meme. What is it? The meme of like a chimp, just kind of like staring at a lion that's roaring. That's what it reminds me of. Kind of like the whole rage baiting meme, I think. Me being disappointed by the Walking with Dinosaurs reboot. Prehistoric Planet making a third season centered around the Cenozoic. I am so excited for that. I mean, I'm sure that many of you already know that because I've talked about it in a video, but I am very excited for the reboot, or for the Prehistoric Planet Ice Age. I think that's going to be so flippin' awesome. And yeah, I don't think that Walking with Dinosaurs, like the new Walking with Dinosaurs, was nearly as good as it potentially could have been. Absolute Cinema meme. We have Distortus Rex. It does have the proper arms for that, at least these sets of arms. And then these two tiny arms. Quite terrifying, really. Such a strange critter. The big three theropod dinosaurs, watching people treat them as monsters and/or video game characters and not animals like they were. That has to be like one of my biggest paleo pet peeves nowadays, is the whole... I mean, like, it's fine if it's kind of like used to a certain extent. Like, there's some people who actually use video game terminology to explain certain topics of nature or biology and things like that. And that's a fine way to do it. I'm sure a lot of people learn through those methods. But when they start like using it to try to tear down specific aspects of paleontology or specific aspects of animals in the past, that's when it starts to get on my nerves, especially for Spinosaurus. The whole nerf thing, that definitely did start out as a joke. I think that the people who started that, they didn't really have any ill intention behind it, but then it just started getting carried away to a part where people are genuinely using it as a critique of the animal and their hatred towards that animal. Like there's a lot of people who prefer the Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus over the more modern reconstruction right here. And, they use terms like nerf or even overrated and things like that to justify it. And that's when it gets on my nerves. I love this image, though. This really goes to show the difference between these animals and why Tyrannosaurus Rex is considered the largest through mass. Because look at how hefty this animal is compared to these two sons of guns. So crazy. Dinosaurs throwing out synapses. And then the mammals come back eventually. That's funny. That is really funny. That's in like broad strokes sort of way. That's pretty much what happened. The synapsids, like the cynodonts, they were the ruling dominant land animals for basically the entirety of the Permian and all of that. And they did pretty well in the Triassic as well. There was some larger synapsids like Lissovicia or Placerius, and so they still kind of like held that spot to a certain extent. Pseudotsuchians were definitely like the most dominant terrestrial predators, not any synapsids, but in terms of like herbivores, the synapsids were doing great. And then eventually they were replaced by reptiles entirely, that being dinosaurs. And then, of course, the dinosaurs eventually went extinct, and then we got mammals. I love it. That is so funny. That's awesome. Dang, Spino, did you start working out? Right. Just preparing for its movie role, preparing for its Jurassic Park 3 movie role. We gotta, just get steroids. That's what you gotta do. That's a good one. It's a good one. Here's your binky. I don't know why it's the face. I think it's the face that's making, in combination with the pacifier. That is so funny to me. Here we go. Dino guy talking terror birds. All birds are bipedal. That was a funny time. That when I make my videos, a lot of times, I review a lot of the information beforehand, and I make sure that I know what I'm talking about for the most part, and then I just start talking. I'm not really good at following a script. When I follow a script, that's when I make more mistakes in terms of the way that I speak, and it's just a lot more difficult for me to get it done. So I just kind of like I make sure I review all of the information first, and then I get straight into the video. So, but as a result, sometimes things happen. Like I say some things that don't really make sense, and I don't catch myself until I'm editing. Sometimes I don't even catch myself when I'm editing, which is always annoying. But one of those things was that I mentioned that there was like a portrayal of a terror bird that was a bipedal bird. And then when I was like reviewing, when I was editing the footage, I heard myself say that. I'm like, what the frick am I talking about? All birds are bipedal. It's like there's not really any quadrupedal birds. So yeah, I added in the little soundbite that said all birds are bipedal, and everybody thought that was funny, and I think it's funny too. I kind of want to make it into a shirt. I'm thinking about talking to my wife about that because I think that'd be really funny to do. Paleontologists be like incredible. That's one of my favorite things, man. I hear about like a new dinosaur discovery or something like that, or someone wants me to talk about a specific dinosaur discovery, and I'll do some research on it. Let me get out of the way of the thing. I'll do some research on that specific dinosaur, but then that come to find out it's known from very few fossil material. Something that happened to me, that happened to me with was Pycnonemosaurus when I was doing research on it a while ago, back when it was like first coming to Path of Titans, and I realized how fragmentary that animal was. It's always a fun experience. It's a canon experience though. I love this meme. This meme right here. What's funny is that this is like the second time that this guy from Dexter has become a meme in like two different generations of internet memeness, I guess. There was like that whole surprise mother fudger back in the Vine days, and now there's this one, which I think is funny. But anyway, when you know the dinosaurs meat theory is real, but you just can't prove it. The dinosaurs meat theory. I'm not too sure. I don't know of like any theory that's specifically called that, but I do know of the whole like herbivorous dinosaurs potentially eating meat from time to time because that's something that modern day herbivorous animals do. So that might be what that's talking about. Pay up or the Megphia will have something to say. He looks adorable though. Why though? It's unfortunate. When bro says dinosaurs didn't exist, so you just got to look at him like this. Yeah, that's my exact same reaction whenever I get a comment that states that dinosaurs weren't real. Happens more frequently than you might expect. When you're watching Rebirth and the paleontologist calls Mosa and Quetzal dinosaurs, Spino be sad. This was my exact reaction. It's just so annoying to me. It's so annoying to me. It's just, how difficult is it to put in a single line of dialogue? Like, just have Henry Loomis say something like, well, actually, they're technically not dinosaurs. That's all you got to do. That's all you had to do. Calling them dinosaurs doesn't do anything for the plot. All it does is add further confusion to the public. That's all that happens. Anyway, it's not a big deal. What do you think he's listening to? Probably death metal or hard rock. Ooh, what's he listening to? Yes, Ben Bartlett's. Which one specifically? For the 25th flight of the Ornithochirus. That's a good one. Yeah, Walking with Dinosaur soundtrack. That's the best way to go. Yeah, gang, that's my older cousin. Little Microceratus. That's a good one. I like that one. That's a fun meme. He's goated. He is goated. That is a goated animal back there. I like it. Me watching New Dawn. Me seeing the chick scene. Oh, yeah, from Walking with Beasts. I don't recommend watching it. This is a good use of this meme, though. I like that. When the star in the sky is getting a little too close. I don't know what it is about that one. Oh, I remember seeing this one years ago. I always loved this one. This one was always really funny because it's true. Literally any giant theropod, the general public, is this a T-Rex? That is, you like when you get, when you get knowledgeable with dinosaurs and you start surrounding yourself with other people who are like-minded, you like tend to forget that that's actually something that does happen. But I distinctly remember back when I was in middle school, I was in marching band, and we had like a parade to march in up in a different city. This different city has an Allosaurus statue in front of one of the buildings. And the minute we all passed by, half of all the people were like, oh, there's a T-Rex. And This was really painful for me because I was always a quiet kid. I was a shy kid. I did not talk at all. So I just had to suffer in silence as everybody called it the incorrect theropod. It does happen though. It does happen. And I've noticed that it does happen kind of frequently, even with like adults and stuff like that. It is something, people are not everybody's as in tune with dinosaurs, and that's completely fine. They don't have to be, but it does happen. Chad Concavinator versus lame Mipe Mathranax. Macrothorax, you mean, but unique is a Carcharodontosaurus. Mind blowing. Cool quills. Weird long. Wait. The weird. Weird long arms. I feel so stupid. Weird long arms. Being the biggest doesn't make you cool. Dumb Megaraptorin. Lame. Well, that's not even Mipe. Wow. That's probably going to rustle some feathers. I'm not going to lie. Fact. Scientists believe that Carcharodontosaurids had better than average footballing skills. Their various rugosities, evidence of cornified pads, ridges, etc. on their heads are linked to reduction of dementia in later life after long careers of heading the ball. I don't know why I can't read today. I can't read ever, if I'm being honest. But this is true. This is true. You could tell by this evidence right here. Did Mark Whitten actually post that back in 2023? I hope he did, because that is so funny if he did. Anyway, paleo documentaries, when they find out you don't need a Tyrannosaurus Rex to be successful. Yeah, that's true. What? Planet Dinosaur didn't have a single... It did have T-Rex in it, but it was like of a skeletal. I think a silhouette to, showcase how large specific animals were compared to it. And I think that Planet Dinosaur did pretty good. At least I liked it when I was younger. Yeah, this is true. This rings true. You don't always have to have Tyrannosaurus Rex. Tyrannosaurus does kind of feel like a crutch nowadays. It feels like most dinosaur documentaries make sure that they have an episode where Tyrannosaurus Rex can make an appearance. And it's not required. There's a lot of other dinosaurs you can take a look at. Hey, Paleo Pizzas. Your final days as an Onchopristis numidia. I love that. That is a perfect shot right there. This is exactly what many Onchopristis would see in their final moments. I love that. How are they this far off? Oh, the Velociraptor. There's a few different reasons why it's so large. I won't dive into it right here, but yeah, this is a cool image though. I like the way that this looks. Like, that was very nicely done. Like, you have Deinonychus right here, you have Velociraptor down here, and the Jurassic Park Velociraptor. That's a pretty sick image. I like that. Cretaceous vegetation. Caterpillars, all herbivorous dinosaurs. This meme was made by Dr. Stanley Flanders in 1962. If I were to guess, is this an outdated hypothesis on how many of the herbivorous dinosaurs died, and I assume as a result all the carnivorous dinosaurs died because they didn't have anything to feed on? Let me guess. Let me see. Yep. Dr. Flanders proposed that the great dinosaurs were eliminated by a giant influx of moths and butterflies. That is so interesting. There were a lot of hypotheses in the past that were trying to explain how dinosaurs went extinct. Obviously, a lot of them were before the discovery of the iridium layer and the Chicxulub crater in the Yucatan Peninsula in the Gulf of Mexico. That was before we had a really good idea of how dinosaurs went extinct. There were a lot of hypotheses that were like that. I know that some of them were like, oh, mammals ate too many of the dinosaurs' eggs, and so they went extinct. There were a lot of there were hypotheses on severe droughts. You can actually see that portrayed in, what's it called? Fantasia, the Rite of Spring short. And apparently one of them is that caterpillars would, there was an influx of moths and butterflies, and they would eat most of the vegetation that the herbivores needed to survive. And as a result, they went extinct. And shortly after, I assume the carnivores went extinct because they lost their food source. It's always really interesting to hear those different hypotheses, and great meme, great use of this meme. I can't play too much of that, but it's the Looney Tunes song. Cool bird fact. All birds are bipedal. I really need to make a shirt. I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna make a shirt and I'm gonna wear it. And I've seen this one before. It's not even, yeah, I think that they made it, a lot of my mods, they made a lot of emotes for the server, and one of them is this. In editing, I need to make sure I zoom up. Yeah, all birds are bipedal. Oh, I love it. Uh, what is going on here? Oh my, that is cursed. That might be a mutation or something. When I'm arguing with my wife, but then she threatens to destroy my dinosaur collection.
One more step and this weird thing gets it. Don't be rash.
I love that movie so much. When your easy meal has tail spikes and is aiming for your crotch. Did you know there is an Allosaurus fossil that has an injury in that specific area that is consistent with like a thagomizer, like a tail spike from a Stegosaurus, implying that there was an unfortunate Allosaurus that got hit in an unfortunate area. That makes this meme even funnier to me. Me, whenever someone lectures me about how pterosaurs aren't dinosaurs, I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old. Love Andor, by the way. I mean, this isn't from Andor. This specific scene is from Rogue One, but the show Andor, great, absolute cinema. But yeah, this is true. This is true. It's like, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. What are you trying to tell me stuff? I think we were just talking about something similar to this. When a prehistoric documentary comes out, but just uses the same old creatures and barely any new and actually interesting creatures. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think with certain areas, their hands are certainly tied. Like someone was asking when with like the new Walking with Dinosaurs, why like Edmontosaurus showed up so frequently. And it's like, well, the areas in which they were depicting in the new Walking with Dinosaurs, Edmontosaurus was very frequent in those specific areas. So it does make sense to have a dinosaur like that. But I do agree, though, we could probably try to focus on some new things to try to like expand the public knowledge on more creatures that are not so well known. Because of course we have hundreds of dinosaur species that are officially known, if you don't count birds, because if you count birds, then there's well over 10,000 known species of dinosaurs. But I agree with this one. That's a good and funny meme that is very true. My in real life friends calling ancient animals by what they are, my in real life friends all are dinosaurs. Isn't that just a kick in the teeth? Well, what's this? Where are we going? Why my next corporate needs you to find the difference between this picture and this picture? General, I don't know if I really see it personally. I've had some people tell me that I do look like Obi-Wan, but I've never seen it. I'll tell you who I do look like, though. Hold on one second. Alexander Ludwig. This man, I have been told that I look like this man ever since high school. Because when I was in high school, something that was kind of new was the Hunger Games. Alexander Ludwig played Cato in the Hunger Games. So I've had people tell me that I look like Cato. Then shortly after, I've had people tell me that I look like Bjorn from Vikings, which is a show that I never watched. I've had people which Bjorn was played by Alexander Ludwig. I've had people tell me that I look like someone from Grown Ups 2, which Alexander Ludwig played him. Someone in Midway. Yeah, no, this is who I look like. I mean, look, kind of, right? Yeah, no. In terms of people tell me I look like a lot of people. I've had a lot of people tell me that I look like Chris Pratt before. I've had people tell me I look like Casey, or is his name Casey? The one guy from Yellowstone. I don't watch Yellowstone. I've had people tell me that I look like Bradley Cooper before. So, but Alexander Ludwig has been the most consistent person in terms of like people telling me who I look like. Anyway, so let's get back to the memes. Oh no, saber shish kebab. The mammoth's coming to Ecos La Brea. I'm so excited for that. We're gonna get a lot of saber shish kebabs. That's so terrible. Here we go. This is like a recreation of that meme. We got the, Tyrannosaurus Rex here in place of the lion, and then we got Edmontosaurus in place of the chimp. That is such great imagery. I love that. We got Lakotas here. Allosauroids trying to recover in North America. Tyrannosauroids. It was inevitable. Great movie, too. Puss in Boots, The Last Witch. Fantastic movie. Did I say last wish? I mean last wish. 2070, and I see these two teaming on me. I don't know who you are, but this horrifies me. Look how cool that looks. Uh-oh. Because his name's Jack Horner. Yeah, no, there is a paleontologist named Jack Horner, and I think it's quite known that Jack Horner is probably not the biggest fan of Tyrannosaurus Rex. For one, Jack Horner he's not the one who created this hypothesis, but he really helps make it mainstream. The hypothesis that T-Rex was an obligate scavenger, meaning it only scavenged and it didn't do any hunting. Yeah, no, this meme fits. So we got Jack Horner here with this spike and then the T-Rex. Small eye bone dust. Is this you extrapolating the rest of it? Yeah, this is the estimations for this animal right here, based off of small eye bone dust. I love it. Other animals use their tails, jaws, and horns for defense. Dinosaurus, yeah, just uses those hands. They had huge hands, probably put them to good use. Oh my. They made the T-Rex from Jurassic Park into a real thing. Oh, we got a little comic strip here. Hey, you can't fly. Yes, I can. My equations don't say you can fly. Did you just put pterosaurs into bird equations again? There was a lot of like fights on, or not really fights, but a lot of debate on whether or not large as darkids could fly realistically. They could, you know, there's no reason, like most of the evidence nowadays supports that large as darkids like Quetzalcoatlus and Hatzegopteryx could fly. You know, they were relatively like lightly built. Like it's still so crazy to me that something as tall as a giraffe only weighs as much as like a grizzly bear. It's that is such a fun fact to me. Paleontology there's no community here. Paleontology. This is the new sauropod / ornithopod I just discovered. Paleontology community. Paleontology. This is the 7th week in a row you've shown the new sauropod / ornithopod you just discovered in class. We do find quite a few of those, don't we? They were pretty, like, I mean, you're bound to find more herbivorous animals than carnivorous animals, of course, especially ones like this little ornithopod, because they probably would have been way more abundant than the predatory animals. What we got here? Okay, a Mexican dish that ends in ito. And it says Dorito. Good answer. I love freaking Family Feud because of that. It's just, good answer! It's like a terrible answer. Dorito. Spinosaurus, what the... yeah, I've seen this image before. It's like, what if we apply like the plesiosaur method to it, like the incorrect plesiosaur reconstruction, and put its head on the tail? What is going... This is like the first time I've ever seen it drawn out. It is so crazy. So, nobody. T-Rex when you're 3 miles away on a hill. I see you. That's the perfect dialogue for that because it comes from Infinity Ultron. And yeah, no, T-Rex likely had a very good sense of sight, like comparable to that of modern day birds, which is so cool, so crazy. The juvenile Tyrannosaurus after it tries to pick a fight with an Admonosaurus. Yeah, it's over there. Perfect use of that meme. We are constructing dinosaurs wrong. Take a hippo skull, for example. It's always the hippo skull. If it's not the hippo skull, nowadays it's also like the beaver tail and stuff like that. It's always so fun. There's always someone who makes like a video so confidently explaining that we're reconstructing dinosaurs incorrectly, and then they use the worst examples, especially with how differently reptiles and mammals like distribute fat and like their muscle placement. It's so vastly different. So it's like, you know, if you were to criticize it, you should at least criticize it in a way that shows that you did a little bit more research, you know, because, you know, they always use mammals as examples because mammals look like their skeletons look so different from what's on top. And so when people see that, they're always like, well, we're probably getting dinosaurs wrong because they probably had a lot of like, you know, things like this hippo. And I don't know. It's just I've talked about it ad nauseum. I won't drone on anymore, but it's true. Yeah, when the waiter shows up at your table and asks if the food's good, always terrible timing. Always terrible timing. Timing. Oh no, new lip study. New Tyrannosaurus reconstruction just dropped. This is the new lip study. Oh my gosh. Look how much work was put into this though. Like, look at that. Look how detailed it is. I like it. Velociraptor in movies, Velociraptors in real life. I will die on this hill. I think that Velociraptors would still mess you up in real life. I mean, they're the size of turkeys, but they have longer claws and sharp teeth. They're gonna mess you up. This little Chihuahua doesn't hold a candle. Paper Spinosaurus can now fly. Look at this image. I love it. That's awesome. Mammals, 66 million years ago. Yay, the dinosaurs are gone. Birds, well, yes, but actually, no. Very true. Very true. Whoops, didn't mean to zoom in on that chair. How I look at bro after he says a pterodactyl is a dinosaur. Indeed, I agree. Oh, here we go. John, I don't get it. Why do you want tree frog DNA in the trees? The trees. They need to climb the other trees. That is a reference to this video right here. Watch this video and then you can appreciate this meme. It looks amazing. I love it. You did a fantastic job. I think this is so good. Dinosaur documentaries, Cretaceous, Jurassic this is true. This is very true. Triassic is very underrepresented in a lot of dinosaur media in general. And the Cretaceous is by far the most saturated. Like even the newest Walking with Dinosaurs had the majority of the episodes were in the Cretaceous and only one of the episodes was in the Jurassic and a total of none were in the Triassic, which is a bit unfortunate, especially considering the fact that the original Walking with Dinosaurs was a nice timeline thing where he started off in the Triassic and ended in the Cretaceous. I think that's the ideal route to take, and that is the route that Surviving Earth is taking. So awesome. That's what I like to hear. At least I think that's what they're taking. Most likely what they're taking. They're like the timeline thing, you know. So this is a movie named Jurassic Park, in which there are dinosaurs, I think. And most of them are from the Cretaceous. Yeah. Cretaceous Park doesn't have the same ring to it, don't you know? The original primitive war. That's cool. That's an interesting shot right there. I wonder what movie that's from. Or unless it's photoshopped. I guess it could be. Well, I don't know. It's pretty cool. John Hammond in the books, John Hammond in the films. That's pretty true. Like book Hammond is like night and day from film Hammond. Film Hammond is like way more tame, not nearly as cynical or egotistical or a jerk, to put it lightly, than the movie Hammond. Absolute Cinema, indeed. Great shot. Moza when he got called a dinosaur. I know, they're cool in their own right. They don't have to be dinosaurs to be cool, guys. All right? All these people who get disappointed when you tell them that like pterosaurs are not dinosaurs, or most marine reptiles are not dinosaurs, or Dimetrodon's not a dinosaur. They get disappointed. It's like, why? They're still cool animals in their own right. Anyway, I don't think I was able to show all of them in this video, of course, but that is a good chunk of the amazing paleo memes that have been sent into the Discord server. Be sure to follow, or join the Discord. The link is down below for that. I do try to incorporate nice little community style videos every once in a while. So, once you join, make sure you keep an eye out for any announcements in the future, and we'll probably do something similar to this. We mostly look at paleo art, but I wanted to kind of shake things up a little bit here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you like dinosaur related content, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you on board. And until next time, have an awesome day.